What's up, guys, and welcome back to Lovercast. Today we'll be talking about a pretty interesting topic from a book that I read last week called Grit. And I think we all know what grit is. It's like when you really, really want to do something and you just don't give up. Grit is like how you become a professional football player. Grit is how you become the best. Grit is coming every single day, not quitting, and putting in more work than anyone else. And that's super important. And so I read a book about grit because I felt like I needed to be putting more effort in. Even though I'm putting in more effort than most people, it's not enough, in my opinion, to get to where I want to be. And so I read this book to try to motivate myself to get to a point where I had the right mentality so that I can start moving forward correctly. And so today's podcast is all about grit and all about that book and how you can use it to hit whatever goals you have set, whether that's being a YouTuber, whether that's graduating college, or maybe just graduating high school. This is super important. So grit is like the key foundation to starting success, because there's a common misconception that a lot of people have, and it's that talent is more important than hard work. Deep down, a lot of us believe that to be true. Some of us actually only believe that. But the truth is, according to multiple studies, that hard work actually trumps talent in almost every single case imaginable. Now, there are some cases, basketball is a common one that comes up, where talent, height, you can't change height, right? If you're not tall, you're not going to be an NBA player. It's just facts. But in most things in life, hard work is what will get you to the top, not your talent. And a lot of times, having talent actually can hurt you because you're so dependent on your talent, you never had to work hard, and so you don't know how to work hard. So starting from the bottom with no skill, no talent, is one of the more beneficial things you can do, because then you can craft yourself into exactly who you want to be. You know what it takes to get there, and it's a long-term process. So grit is the ability to be able to do insane amounts of work in one narrow field for long periods of time. So you pick a topic you love. Mine's YouTube. Yours is probably not, but if it is, good for you. You pick a topic and you do that thing for years and years and years and years and days. You don't quit. You don't take breaks. You don't stop. It doesn't matter if you don't get any success. You keep doing it anyway, because you know eventually it's going to pay off because you're putting in the work. So yeah, maybe right now you're not as good as your friend who just picked it up and was a natural, but in 3 years, you put in 10 times the work he did. Guess what? You're going to be a lot better than him. And if you look at my old videos on my YouTube channel, you can see how hard work has paid off for me, because when I started, I couldn't even look at a camera to talk. I felt so embarrassed to talk. I was like muffling like this, and I was like all quiet and like, it's such a different person now. And that's because I did this every day, and I focused and I put in the work to get there. But it's not just work. It's about focused work. You're actually going in with the mindset that I'm here to improve. And it's super important to understand that you have to have grit to be successful. So the first thing you need to do is to really, truly believe hard work is more important than talent. You can't just say it. You have to actually believe it. Some people have had to go to therapists to have them show them that hard work matters. You might have to actually do that in your life to be able to finally make that realization, because we're ingrained to think that hard work isn't what matters. Talent matters. And there's a reason for that. The reason is because when you see someone make it, when you see someone hit their dreams, become a professional, whatever, go on TV, late night talk shows, you want to believe that it's talent. Because if you believe it's talent, then you have nothing to feel bad about. He was lucky. But if you realize it's hard work and you accept that it's hard work, then you realize that could have been me. Then you start comparing yourself and saying, that guy's no different than I am. I could have done what he did. And that is why you believe that talent's more important, because it protects your ego. If you believe hard work's more important and you see these people make it and become celebrities, then you're realizing like, oh my gosh, these people aren't just one-off random chances. These people put in the work, and I didn't put in the work. So that's why I'm here. I didn't succeed because I didn't put in the work. It's hard to make that exception. And once you do, it's going to hurt. And you're going to realize you didn't put in the work. You didn't have the grit. These people aren't special. They had talent, but they had hard work. Will Ferrell, famous comedian. Many people like see what he does, that he just is famous. He makes good videos. He's funny. He's a comedian. He was actually quoted saying in an interview that he's the hardest worker he will ever meet. He said no one will outwork him. And I was like, that was weird. What? Will Ferrell is a hard worker? He's just a funny dude. But why is he a funny dude? Well, in this interview, he said, you put me on a treadmill with any number of people, and he said, one of two things will happen. Either I will be the last man to run on that treadmill, or I will die trying. That's pretty serious. That's a man that won't give up. That's a man that put in a lot of work. And that's the mentality of a lot of celebrities, a lot of people that made it big. You will not outwork me. And that's my mentality. Nobody will outwork me. I don't care who you are. You're not going to outwork me. You may be more talented. You probably are. I'm not a natural gifted speaker, but I will outwork you and I will pass you. And that is my mentality, and I believe it. I've proven that I can do it, and I'm going to keep doing it. And you need to do the same. Outwork everyone. If your dream is to become a professional boxer and you look at people like Mayweather, who was like the best boxer ever, I'm pretty sure, I'm not super into boxing. I read a book about him, and it said that he would work out 3 to 4 to 5 times per day. He would go boxing at 2 a.m. because he just wanted to be better. He said, who else is boxing at 2 a.m.? Nobody. So I'm outworking all of them right now. While they're sleeping, I'm getting an hour in the gym. While they're shopping and watching movies on Friday, I'm here working. That was grit. And that's why he went undefeated, 51 times or something? It's all about grit. And all of these great people, when you really hear their stories, you realize they all do something like that. When your friends are out on the weekends, you're working. Is it fun? Is it for everyone? No, I don't think it is for everyone. I know it's not always fun. And no, it doesn't mean you can't have fun and get out there. But it does mean you have to consistently put in that work every single day. And that's what grit is about. Another point from grit, and I'm just reading off of some notes I took here, you got to combine your small, low-level daily goals with larger vision to stay consistently motivated. That means you got to set small goals every single day, and you got to hit those goals. You got to set goal buckets. You got to hit those small goals every single day. Your goal is what? My goal today is to remake a thumbnail I did yesterday because I hated it. I spent an hour and a half this morning making that thumbnail. Now I love it. What did that get me? Maybe an extra 20% in views, made me learn what a good thumbnail looks like, etc. It's a small goal. Long-term success, though, is that one thumbnail lesson is going to translate to all my other thumbnails that I've made. So it's super important to understand that your small daily goals are what build the foundation for long-term progression. So that is really, really important. So all of these things come together to create a scenario where your grit is what drives you. Your hard work is what drives you. And grit can be learned. If you're not a gritty person, if you work out and you always stop before your reps are completed, if you quit before you start actually feeling pain, if you don't finish things when you start them, doesn't mean you're a failure. It means you just haven't been raised to be a gritty person. But it does mean you can learn to be gritty by doing things like that more and more and more. So instead of, you do 10 reps when you're curling, but you always quit at 7, why not just do 8 for a week or a month or even a couple months? You got 8, but you never get to 10. Then suddenly you're doing 9. Then suddenly you're doing 10. You're building up that muscle in your mind because your mind can change if you work it out correctly. Your mind is what's called plastic, which means that your mind is not set in its ways. You can always change your mind into something new. So it's super important to be able to morph your plastic mind into the person that you want to be. And so if you're not a gritty person and you want to be successful, if you find yourself watching Netflix, procrastinating, being lazy, not hitting your deadlines, not being motivated, then you need to start small. Start with the daily goals, and that'll build up your grit muscle. And eventually you get to a point where you can sit down and you can work for 6 hours straight without taking a break and feel super energized the entire time because you love it. It's super important, and it is the foundation to being successful. Hard work is so important. Doesn't mean you throw out your life. Doesn't mean you don't have fun, but it means you will make sacrifices. You will have trouble, maybe with relationships, with friendships. Maybe you won't be as close to family. You're going to have to give something up. But if you know what you're working for and you know what your life will look like when you hit that goal, then are you really giving up anything? I mean, if you think about it, the work that you put in now causes you to sacrifice a couple years, right? You're going to work, you're going to work, you're going to work. But that couple of years sacrifice is more than anyone else is willing to do. And that's going to give you an entire lifetime of success and happiness and freedom to do what you want. I sacrificed the last 3.5 years. I didn't go out much. I worked every day. I worked at a job, came home, did YouTube every single day. I was sick. I did it. The only thing that stopped me from doing it was a life-threatening illness that kept me in the hospital for a month over a 3.5-year period. That is the only thing that stopped me. I broke up with my girlfriend of 7 years. I still made videos after taking a couple days off. I had my mom abandon my family. I still made videos. Nothing stopped me because these things will always happen to you. You're going to lose people. People will die. You're going to get hurt. Bad things will happen. That's not an excuse to stop. Grit is when you push through all of that and you do not quit. And I did that. And now I am literally living my dream life, working my dream job, doing what I've wanted to do for the last 3.5 years. I sacrificed so much and I'm here. And that's because of grit. If you put in the work, you don't make up excuses. I don't believe in excuses at all, ever. And that is what grit is about. You don't make excuses. There's no such thing as an excuse. I didn't want to make this podcast today. I was like, I'm not going to get it up. It's due in 3 hours. Why? That's an excuse. I had time. I didn't manage my time right. There is no such thing as excuses. No matter how bad things get, unless you are in the hospital with a life-threatening disease, you should be able to get back up and figure your stuff out. And if you can't, There are ways to figure yourself out. Therapy, whatever it is. You have problems, you can fix them. I don't believe in excuses almost ever, because I think if you really take the time to learn things, you really take time to read and understand how success works, you're going to get there one way or another. So if you guys want to be successful, you need to start being gritty. You need to start putting in the effort every single day. Stop making excuses, because people that are successful, they don't make excuses. You're not going to get to where you want by saying, I'll get started on that channel tomorrow. You start today, right now. And if you keep saying tomorrow, well, tomorrow never comes. You're never going to start. You start today. You do it every day. You don't quit. You don't do it halfway. You do it the entire way, every single time, with strategies to grow and improve. The book that I read, if you guys want to get more information about this, is called Grit, The Power of Passion and Perseverance by Angela Duckworth. It's a super good book. I really enjoyed it. I wouldn't say it was a life-changing book for me, but it confirmed a lot of things I'm doing right now are right for growing. So it's a really cool book. Highly recommend you check it out. That was gross. And yeah, if you guys enjoyed this podcast today, let me know with one of these. Click that screen. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Spread the love. Peace.